All right, guys, welcome back to the Twisted ADV channel. My name's Chris, and we are back in the shop to finish up that oil leak repair. I know this is number 2. We started back in November. It's February. I know, look, guys, holidays, I'm in the Army. I do a lot of traveling. It's just been kind of crazy. We finally got some good weather. It was snowing yesterday. Today's a little bit better. And man, we're going to get these done. Okay, so just a few bolts, knock those out, get the hoses out of the way, pull those covers off, replace them with this, and we should be good to go. So stick around. Let's move over to the Jeep and we'll get started.
All right, now I'm going to start on the driver's side, and something you might want to pay attention to is you have the ignition pack here, and that has to be removed along with the bracket that holds it in place, and there's another bracket that goes to the top of the alternator. We're going to remove those, right, so that we can get access to the cover. But before you do that, it might be wise to actually mark the spark plug wires, because if you're going to reattach them, you don't want like cylinder 6 going to like number 2 spark plug wire. It's going to run like crap. So make sure you mark those before you take them off, so that way nothing gets confused. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start ripping things out of here and then get that cover off and see how easy it is to replace the gasket. So next up, we got to remove this plate here, and then so there's a bracket that goes right to the alternator. You got to remove that, the 4 bolts that hold that plate in. I had to get me a new ratchet. That other one was all jacked up. All right, so then the next thing you're going to want to remove is the bracket itself here, and that's just a few bolts. Definitely need a deep well socket for that. Okay, now we got that off and this off. Good to go. Getting to those rear bolts might be a little bit of a challenge. Okay, so now the very back of the valve cover, you'll see there's a like kind of a connector for the hose that's connected to the top of the bolt. You'll just have to take a flathead, remove that, and then you can go ahead and use your socket, get that out of there. All right, so that back one is a little difficult to get to. You have to kind of build the stack, if you will. With the adjustable, put your 8mm on there, the universal joint, and then put an extension on it, and then get to the back, and then start working it out. All right, so we got the valve cover loosened up with all the bolts and got it to disconnect from the head there, and now we'll just see if we can get this hose to come off. That just makes too much sense for it to be easy. All right, got that off. Okay. And let's just slide this dude out of here. All right. Definitely don't want any debris or anything that's to fall in. We definitely want to make sure it's nice and clean. I don't see any indications of leak on this side, but again, like we talked about earlier during the oil pan gasket, All the right side, or I'm sorry, the driver's side of the vehicle looked pretty good. I suspect it's going to be my passenger side that's got the leak and issue. So we'll get that clean. We'll go ahead and start replacing the gasket on the valve cover. All right, so now that we got the valve cover gasket off and we have everything here ready, I've got my new gaskets. They do come with these little black grommets, and that's what's going to help retain these bolts in here. So we're just going to go ahead and start peeling the gasket off of here. Now the OEM gasket, it actually slips over the bolts. I'm going to try to keep them in the same spot so that way we don't jack anything up. And then the next thing we got to do is we got to take these little rubber grommets, right? You'll see that it's oriented right up there at the top. All we're going to do is remove those. We'll put the new ones on, and that will help as far as not breaking the cover when we torque that down, okay? So basically, we're just going to take a little screwdriver, remove all of those. You may notice the keeper itself, you actually have to kind of pull it up a little bit, and that's how you get the bolt out of there. So we'll go ahead and start that process. Just make sure that you keep the bolts in the right orientation, that they go in the right spot whenever you are done. All right, easy enough. And then we'll go ahead and make sure that it's clean on the bottom side, install the new gasket, and then put it in there. All right, easy peasy, right? I'm not 100% sure how easy this is gonna be. It is cold out here. It's like, I don't know, 38 or 40 degrees, so it may not come off real easy. But you know, just a little pick here, put that over, and then we will slide the new one in its place. Maybe a little silicone grease, or just elbow grease, whichever works best for you. But it went on there not too bad. And then we'll just put that back in its spot, and then we'll work around all the way for the rest of them. All right, like magic, we're on the very last one. Again, whoop, stab it right up underneath. I'm gonna go ahead and pry it up off the top, and that's the last. Go ahead and try to squeeze this dude on super tight. Okay, got it. All right, they're all in order. We'll go ahead and try to clean this up. Anyway, you don't want to watch me clean this. All right, let's go ahead and get the new gasket in there, and should just go in its place without much issue. And then we'll push those bolts in for each one, and be good to go. And then we'll go ahead and start pushing these back through the grommet and make sure that it's in its place. And you see there, I actually have to kind of push them through, and it'll hold the gasket in its place now, and then it's kept. Okay, so the part of the gasket material is going to go right over that lip. So you're going to push it, and you're going to push it right through, and just make sure it's in, and you're good to go. Okay, and we'll just make sure that it's all nice and seated, that you see that what almost looks like a washer on the inside there, and we are set. So now that we're all in its right orientation, we'll go ahead and put it back on the Jeep. That's why no one shows this part on the video, because it's the hardest part. Am I right, Mike? But I'm so close. Unless, guys, maybe that's my issue. Yeah, I'm freaking backwards. That's what my problem is. Don't do like me. Make sure you orientate this the proper way. It should curve inward. We'll see. Slide it in there. Get it around this hose. All right. There we go. Oh man, look at that. That went in so easy. Line it up. Now I'm tightening all these by hand at this point. Get everything kind of snug, and then we'll torque it down to 105 inch-pounds when we're all done. Click. Good Lord. Come on, dude. How much more life do you got? All right. Got it, bro. Okay. $105. Put that one grommet on the bolt. Put the tube back on. Down. In its hole there. Easier to get to this time. Where'd you go, shield? Where'd that shield go? Alright guys, so now that we're finished with installing the cover, we're going to go ahead and put the bracket back in here, and it's just going to slide right over those bolts there for valve cover. And then we'll put the nuts right back on, tighten everything back up. Alright, so the first thing we're going to want to do is remove our hose. Alright, well, we at least broke it loose. Yeah, there we go. Come right off. I don't know if you can see it, but there is a wiring harness right here on that front bolt, and all we're going to do is just lift that dude right up. Okay, that come off pretty easy. Sure can't seem to get that hose out of the way, but that's okay. Now in the back corner here you have the spark plug tray. Same thing, we'll just lift that right up, and that's where all the spark plug wires connect into in the bracket. And pull it off on the back side as well. Now it's loose. There we go, there's one. There's two. I'm gonna get the third one off of there. Three. We're just gonna pull that whole tray out. We can funnel those out of there because we have new wires here. Okay, so we got our spark plug wires out of the way. Okay, got that one loose. It's hard to get to those back ones, so you definitely need a universal, a deep well, and a couple extensions just to kind of feed it to the back there. Okay, let's see if we can feed it through there and get it down. Okay, we're on it. Okay, I think that's good. It feels good anyway. All right. That is just hard to get to. Need a little rubber mallet action, I think. Maybe.
All right, I think that was enough. Get it to budge loose a little bit. All right, that was it. Got the last bolt loose. Go ahead and start taking this thing out. Slide it on out of there. And yeah, there's a lot of oil here on the side. So we'll go ahead and replace the gasket and see if that helps fix anything there. All right, so that's what it looks like on the back side there. You can see there's quite a bit of leak going on over there. So maybe that'll take care of our issue. So we'll clean that up and we'll put the new gasket in, see if that helps. All right, so now we got the passenger side, and same thing applies. We'll go ahead and remove all the bolts, replace the grommets, and then replace the gasket. And you can see here, there's quite a bit of oil all the way on the outside of it, there where it met the head. So probably quite a bit of oil leak there. It was pretty nasty on that side. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get this old gasket out of here. Looking at the configuration, it's all the long bolts on the front and the running back, and the short ones up on the top there. So we'll make sure we get those oriented correctly as we get this all off. Just pull it over as we try to remove it from the outside of those keepers. Yeah, and you can see the oil all in there, right? And just leaking probably on the back side there. Again, not brittle and whatnot, so that's actually not too bad. But still a failure nonetheless. And then we will go ahead and for sure clean up on the Jeep itself as well. Make sure that we get all that taken care of. So we look at our gasket and line it up like so. And then we just push that through and push it through the gasket. And then just make sure it's sitting nice right there on the inside of it. And that'll hold that in place. And then we'll just work our way around. I tell you, the hardest part of this job really is just getting to the bolts themselves to get to the gaskets, man. That is not easy. All right, looking good. I think we're all set. Got it all cleaned up, got all the bolts back in there, the grommets, it's all held in place. And now we can go feed it in, tighten it up. Let's get out of here. All right, so I did not anticipate it being that difficult to get to the rear of the valve cover gaskets. Man, I tell you what, that was hard. Bigger hands, I had to feed in the socket and the universal joints and extensions just to get back there. Now we're gonna go ahead and tighten everything back up 105 inch-pounds, and then we are gonna reconnect everything and then put in the fresh oil, and we're gonna verify that we no longer have an oil leak, and that embarrassment that we've had driving to other people's homes is not gonna be there anymore. So, too cool. Let me get some oil in here. We'll get it started, validate that it's good, and that wraps up this oil fix repair. All right, guys. Thank you. Click the like and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one. Later, guys.